Welcome everyone. Today we have another new episode, especially from World Talent Economy Forum. We are really sorry what's going on in Nigeria. And World Talent Economy Forums actually we have more faith, more belief on youth community, and we are observing something going on in Nigeria. For that particular issues, we have our friends from Nigeria. They will discuss about, especially everybody know already, Oshnakachi and our friends, they are joining today and they will discuss about the present conditions. And we have uh, core faith and trust about these teams, and they are actually trying to do their best. They are trying to develop their nations, they are trying to develop their community. And most important thing is that our friends, we are global community always with you. We always support you, and we always help the youth community wherever you are in Nigeria, you are in North America, or you are in Asia. We always like to support this kind of community, those who want to contribute for their nations. So I want to start with Oshnakachi. So yes, I think already people know about you and everything. I think everybody know each other, but I want to know more details about the present conditions of Nigeria. Mr. Oshnakachi.
Okay, thank you so much, Sharif, for inviting me. And I wish to use this opportunity to thank World Talent Economic Forum for organizing a panel like this. Well, the situation in Nigeria is appalling, especially with regards to the way the politicians tends to handle the issue, making the whole scenario nauseating. Um, I don't know where to begin. Am I to begin with the cause, the effect, and the future effect of the events of a few days of the event of these few days must have caused Nigeria, not just as a nation, but the citizens. Well, what happened was just a protest, a peaceful protest. The youth um, went to the streets to protest against police brutality, which of course is there on the internet, national newspapers, and foreign newspapers. And the government said, okay, they've changed it, they will stop the SARS. So, and after the change, what they did was just a nomenclature change. They changed the name. The youth said, no, that is not what we want. We want a total refurbishment or screening of the system and the process of which the SARS is being put into place. So the government said no. Now they said no indirectly. They said no because the system was hijacked. We had a photocopy of another fraction protesting too, with the same notion, with the same intent, but different approach. Different approach in the sense that, you know, when a protest is being hijacked, it turns to riots. So things started spoiling, and the government wanted to stop it. And the process, many were killed. Not just one or two, but let's say, according to what the government availed, they said 68 persons died during the process. So the problem is the question of respect, not just on the human person, but on the national identity. You can't be going after someone on a peaceful protest, holding national flags and singing the national anthem. So the whole thing um, is nauseating because it caused a lot of effect. It has a lot of effect on the youth psychologically and otherwise. So, like we discussed last time, Claire would like to talk about the trauma that it caused some, and due to the pictures that people were watching and all that. So, um, that is just a brief summary of the whole thing. I will allow others to share their views and maybe take it from a more broader perspective. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Oshnagachi. Oguchuko, how do you want to introduce the present situation in Malaysia? Sorry, Mr. Oguchuko, can you hear me? Can you unmute yourself?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, thank you. Can you please introduce the present situations in Nigeria and what your aspect and what do you want to share with us?
Okay, thank you very much. I want to thank you, Mr. Sharif, for having me on this program and for giving us the opportunity to share our views on what is happening at the time in our country. And so, at the time, the problem that we are facing today in our country, it's an endemic problem that has started. It started right from the very foundation of the country itself, because for a country that has its roots in colonialism and uh, we borrowed our national anthem, we borrowed our national values and our national creed from the British. And so most of the creed that we profess are actually from what the British people have given us. And so our constitution was laid down in these terms. And so all of these issues that we're suffering today is what I will refer to as a question of a lack of understanding or a deep systemic problem within the nation. So, but to put it in perspective with what is happening, it's basically about police brutality, and so police brutality, like we all know, is how the police has been treat people without conscience and without the right civility that is that should be actually accorded to citizens. So we had a case like that in the United States. And the people protested, and the citizens protested, and largely they were given a fair hearing, and some of their issues were also taken care of. Now, here in Nigeria, ours is a little bit unlike what happened in the United States, in the sense that in the United States, it was a question of racism. Here, it's a question of the people being denied, the young people being attacked. It's not an ethnic issue, even though we have ethnic issues that do happen in the country, but it's not really an ethnic issue here in Nigeria. It's a question of lack of knowledge. It's a question of ignorance. It's a question of failed institutions. It's a question of lack of moral background, moral intelligence, like as I would like to put it. So the police force in Nigeria, for me, from the way I see it, has the highest degree of or the highest amount of people, both young and advanced in ages, people who do not really understand the psychology of human beings, and people who do not understand how to go about bringing about social sanity, bringing about social stability in a country.
Okay, I think that Clara,
Am I still
can you
alive?
yes, hello. I think Clara, can you
Hello?
yes, because uh, Clara, can you add something because I think your friend has internet issue.
Hello? Can you still hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Okay, I think I went off a bit there. Okay, okay. So as I was saying, so there is a fundamental problem in the institution itself. This institution is problematic because of the level of people, the kind of people, and the psychology of the people we have there. And it's not a question, it's not a problem that started within the institution itself. It's a long drawn out problem that incorporates every other aspect of the Nigerian society. So we talk about the leadership, we talk about the different kinds of institutions we have in the country. We talk about the civil service, we talk about the class of the political class, and also even our schools. So it is a problem that is spread across uh, across the institutions, whereby the nation itself do not, the institutions of the government do not value the people as as their citizens, as people that they should pay heed to, as people whose affairs they're supposed to protect and they're supposed to take care of. So, because of this deep lack of understanding that is endemic in the system, it's spread across and also affected the system. So, the police in itself has their own fair issues. So, but the problem of the SARS now coming up is a branch of the police system, the police institution, who were supposedly given the mantle of taking care of fraud and all of those issues. So they were supposed to take care of, including maybe internet fraud and all of those stuff, like you have FBI in the United States. But these people are not even trained in the act of doing this thing. They don't even understand how to go about it. They don't even understand the very fabric of the technological age that we are operating in, how it is organized, and how it is supposed to be followed. So they now use, because of their depraved in their own moral system, because of their not psychologically equipped to handle humans. They now take this opportunity because of their men in uniform and they have been given weapons to unleash mayhem on the citizens. Now, the problem that we are facing here is that Nigeria as a country, in so many sense, and most African countries, have really failed its citizens in many ramifications. So the people now fend for themselves in most cases. They take care of their power. They take care of their. As you can see, the light I'm using, it's I'm powering it for myself. I had to get a generator, get a fuel to make sure I take care of all of these things. We provide our water, we provide our power. We take care of almost basically all amenities. So it's more like the government has become almost useless in many sense in providing their basic amenities for the citizens. Security is abysmal and all of those things. So now this you now see a crop of young people who have hopes and dreams and who want to survive, who want to make sense of the world, going out there and trying to make some. I'm trying to survive. I'm trying to thrive. I'm trying to succeed because their nation has deprived them of most of these amenities or most of these basic amenities, which is not of their own fault because you're born into a nation, you just see yourself born into a country. You don't determine where you're born in. Because the nation has deprived them of this, they now are looking for opportunities to go into the global market to source for survival, to look out there to succeed. And so technology has allowed them the space, the avenue, and the channel to use their creativity and deploy their creative skills in order to make ends meet. Now, at the same time, you understand that when you have a society mixed with people of different ideologies, background, and all of that, and they're all going out there to make ends meet for themselves. Within that crop of individuals or group of people who are going out there, there are good people, there are bad people. There are people who with moral, good moral systems, and there are people who are unethical. So you have a few persons who are doing some kind of, or who are doing shady deals or doing in what we call internet fraud. But this is not, it is not, it is not something that is exclusive to Nigerians. Across other countries, you have in the United States, in Russia, in almost all parts of the world, you have people who still do internet fraud, who do cyber attack and all of those things. But you wouldn't, because a small fraction of the population is into this, and then you label every other person that is also in the global space or global market space using technology to do this as people as all internet fraudsters. So the problem here is you have on the one side incompetent police people, policemen and women within an incompetent institution trying to police the general population. And so they label all the citizens, all the young people who are into who who understand technology and use it as a means to survive, to thrive, and to find solutions to their problems. They now label all of them as internet fraudsters, and then they now use that label, that they now use that opportunity to harass these young people and
Hmm.
to
Okay.
perpetrate a lot of mayhem and all of that. And so these young people have gotten fed up of this situation, and they are saying it's not enough that you have deprived us of the basic amenities you have not provided for us as a country. But we have found a way to access the global economy through technology, and you're still going out and still killing us and still, trying to put us down. What is the problem? So that is the anger of the young people. That is what they are protesting against. So it is still the same police brutality, but in our own circumstance, it has a different undertone that is driven by the culture, that is driven by the lack of basic amenities in the country. And in this sense, it's a little bit unlike what is happening in the United States, but it's still within the general umbrella of police brutality. And so the young people are saying no to this. And then you see a government who do not understand the needs of its people, who do not identify with the needs and the hopes and the dreams and aspirations of the young people, fighting against them, and now seeing the young people as rogues. And you now see, and that is where it now comes into the barbarity of the whole situation that comes up, where the government would send out its own military to search against its own citizens who have the national flag. That is the height of
Hmm.
insensitivity. That is the height of barbarity. And that goes to show you that the people have lost the sense of the story, the common story they share together
Hmm.
as a country
Hmm.
and as a nation. And it's a problem that really needs to be addressed.
Hmm. Thank you, Miss Clara E. I want to know more about your thoughts at the present situations in Nigeria. Yes.
Okay. Ugochukwu, well done. I mean, well spoken. If you ask me, it's been a matter. I think it's been a case
Thank you.
of concealed anger, from the youths. Of course, we have a lot of adults who understand the fact that our exhibition or our display of protests isn't shouldn't be taken for granted, and it is worth coming out for. It's been years of taking a lot of things that shouldn't be. It's been years of accepting things from the government, irrespective of how we feel about it, irrespective of how um, you know insensitive they have been to our plight. And then we decided to come out en masse early this month to fight for our rights. I don't think it's so much for us to talk about. Now, it started off with just a simple request of end police brutality. Now, the police brutality encompasses a lot of things. So, in between you're fighting for justice, in between you're fighting for your life, in between you're also trying to remind them that we don't even have basic amenities. And all we're asking for, we're not bringing this to the table. We're just asking for one thing: end police brutality. Is it so much for you to ask for? No. It is until sometimes is when it hits deep into one person that you understand the pain the other people are trying to showcase. So the whole SARS thing has been going on for a while. Today they tell you it's been banned. The next day it's been banned. The next day you see them again. You make complaints. Someone dies. It's been banned. The same thing. We've just been going around the circle over and over and over again. And then we said enough is enough. We can't take it anymore. And then everyone said, okay, you know what? Let's come out. Let's unify our voices, make it one, and let us be heard. And then the worst happened. We came out, we did a peaceful protest, and all of a sudden, the government decided, hey, let's send the military to these people and then open fire on her citizens. That's the height of insensitivity. That's the height of wickedness. That's the height of, I don't know the right words to use for this. A government who doesn't have empathy for her citizen is just, I mean, what more can I say? So now we've lost a lot of lives in the past week. And that's because we have been fighting for our rights. And that's because we have been saying enough is enough, no more brutality, no more oppression. And that has been the problem. Now we have fought, you know, tooth and nail in a very peaceful manner. We have fought to say this is the right thing to do, which is send your SARS out and have a reform of the SARS. You can't bring people to treat citizens like goats. We have a right to the country. We have a right to live. We have a right to move. We have a right to everything. I think our constitution is also one of the biggest problems we're having in Nigeria. Maybe it needs to be amended. Maybe we need to just re-strategize and renew or just have a new constitution totally that can favor the ordinary man in the citizen. There is a whole lot we are facing. Yes, the United States of America has been facing the whole police brutality thing, but then do they have basic amenities? Yes. Do we have basic amenities? No. I mean, see the show of shame when you find people finding palliatives that should be given to us during the COVID-19 period. You find palliatives, people are hustling, trying to take it. Most of them have been spoiled because they've stayed over time. What else can, I mean, what is wrong in us coming out to talk about what we need? And then you finally have the government talk. And what? He doesn't even show some form of empathy to her citizens. Blood was shed on the 20th of October 2020. It's a very remarkable day that will never leave the hearts of Nigerians, especially to the people who are fighting the right cause. We have a lot to talk about. We have a lot to understand. We need some kind of sensitization too amongst the youths. It's one thing to fight for what we want, or it's one thing to understand that we need basic amenities, but we also need to understand the system of the government. How many of the youths have their PVCs down in their houses? How many of the youths believe that their votes will count? I still go through social media, sometimes, and yesterday and 2 days ago, I see a lot of people write in popular blogs like Instablog and Tunde Ednos and all that, and they say our vote will not count. 2023 will still be the same thing. I mean, if you have such negative vibes, how do you think we would move forward? So it starts by us understanding the system of the government. I mean, most of us are science students, so we probably did not go deep into the government study to understand, okay, the judiciary, the executives, and the rest of them. It goes beyond that. There are more to the government, there are more to the policies, there are more to political policies we need to understand and learn. If you do not know these things at the back of your hand, what are you coming out to protest for? What are you fighting for? Do you have your PVCs? When you're fighting, make sure you have your arms and ammunition ready, so that when you're talking and you're called upon to stand and say what exactly is right, what do you know about the Constitution, what is going on that is wrong, what should be amended, you boldly talk about it without trying to say, oh, I need to consult my mother, I need to consult my father. They were alive, they were around during the Biafran War, or during this war, or doing this or doing that. No, you as a young person, if you're up to 18, then you should be able to know the system of government and how it works. So we are not just fighting for police brutality to end. We have now made them understand that we know more and we want more. We deserve a better life because we are Nigerians. If we're given options, a lot of us will not want to be Nigerians, you know. But then again, we are here, not by choice, but I mean, we were born here, so we are Nigerians. In other words, we need to make this work. We need to make sure that this system works for us. How do we do it? It starts by us unifying ourselves and unifying our voices as one, as youth. It starts by us. A lot of times, I see things going on that are wrong. You know, you take one way during traffic, you litter the road, you litter everything, you do this. Are we going to call the government? No. So a lot of things also starts with us. It starts with us being the change agents we need in our community. It starts with us making a move. It starts with us doing the right thing. It was a show of love and compassion yesterday when a lot of people went out to clean Lagos, Enugu State, and some of the affected states. It was really amazing. Although some people, you see, we are different people with different ideologies, like Ugochukwu said, different cultural, diverse system and all that. And we might not be able to think well or think straight or think towards the same goal. A lot of people felt, oh, coming out to clean the mess that was made is nonsense. It was barbaric. It doesn't make any sense. It's so insensitive for us to go back to clean and all that. No, we live here. We should make here a living place for ourselves. All right. So most of us do not have the opportunity to travel abroad. So we have to make here work for us. Do we need to wait for the government sometimes? No, we have to make it work. It starts with us. So it's a lot of things, it's a lot of systematic change that has to happen between, the youth and the government. It's a two-way thing. We all need to gain from each other. Do what's right, and let us remind them, since they need reminders, let us remind them that they also need to do the things that they're right. The Constitution states that we have rights to movement, we have rights to talk, we have rights to being a citizen in being a citizen of Nigeria, and so we need to work together as one, both the citizens and the government. It's not so much to ask for. This is my own contribution.
Mhm. Thank you. Mr. Oshnakachi, can you hear me? Like, if Mr. Oshnakachi, can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Can you like open your videos? Basically, yeah. Issue is that like at present situation, we understand that Nigeria facing lot of challenges and a lot of problems. We are really really sorry about that. My question is that like it's happened. This kind of countries even I'm also from a developing nations country like Bangladesh. Maybe economically now we are more stable, but issue is that this kind of ups and down it happened. Even my father was a freedom fighter. I also understand from him that how the fighting with the East Pakistan and West Pakistan in 1952, only because of the language, many people sacrificed their lives in my country, and for the getting the independence, they also sacrificed their life. But issue is that because of the system errors, many countries suffering a lot. But my question is that, like, how uh, you think first your country can solve this kind of system error and give the human rights properly and support the youth to go for the better futures.
I think Ugochukwu and Clara has given they've explained enough about the decay um, with regards to the system. The first thing is, there is always a process in becoming. So for a thing to become, it should be well structured. Now, was Nigeria properly structured? That's the question that we all need to ask ourselves. Before the Civil War, now there was a problem. It was a question of restructuring. It was a question of harmonizing. It was a question of, can we practice meritocracy? Okay, you look at Singapore and countries where you are currently, you see it is developing because the practices meritocracy.
Mhm.
Look at what Lee Kuan Yew did. He implemented meritocracy. But that is a different case here. In Nigeria, for instance, you find people who are working in where they are clueless about. You see people, for instance, an accountant working as Minister of Education. So you see someone who doesn't understand what education is all about, uh, who doesn't have knowledge of science and technology, being Minister of Science and Technology. A nation where, let's say, in 2018, the country is saying, the Minister of Science and Technology is saying by 2020 we'll be producing toothpick and pencil. I mean, in the 21st century. Now, it is um, for us to look at the problem of Nigeria, like I said, is like trying to carry um, a baby that was born at the age of a cupboard. I mean, there is no way to carry such a baby. There is nothing to do about it. The problem of Nigeria is something that we can look at from the primary cause. Okay, during the amalgamation of Nigeria, in 1914, one of the major tribes didn't attend the meeting. Until today, that tribe is still under suppression. They are marginalized. Now, in 2014, 2013-14, the then president called for a meeting for us to look at those things, and it was swept under the carpet. The opposition party saw it as a way to campaign for the 2015 election. There's a lot to talk about because, like Claire would tell you that there is so much to talk about. If she say anything, she will say there is a lot to talk about, and that's why when I'm called to talk about Nigeria, sometimes I'm always confused. Why? Because somebody at my level needs to understand to know our national dream. I don't know the national dream of Nigeria. I don't know the Nigeria goal. Like if you ask a 5-year-old American, what is your national dream? He or she will be able to say, oh, this is it. But there is nothing like that. When you look at the constitution, you will see that it's something that was mumbled through during the military regime and is still functioning in the democratic era. Now you will see that what we are doing is just recycling of leaders. If you it is a culture here, if you have been a governor, you must be a senator. If you have been a senator, you need to be a president. If you have been a president in the military regime, you need to be a president in the democratic era. And you see, these things happen when crises like this happen in Nigeria. The elderly statesmen, you won't see them talk. They are all, I don't know why they are all scared to speak up. I will say, is it too much for the youth to speak up? Let me put it another way, too much to ask. No. So if you are talking about um, fixing Nigeria, we need to start from what Claire said: sensitization, educating the people, educating the youths, because it is this same youth that will be used to hijack any protest that will come up tomorrow. Without them being sensitized, they won't know. Okay, like what happened last time, we are talking about someone being paid $1 to be part of the anti-protest, to be part of those that will replicate another set of youth that will be destroying the societal affairs, the properties, vandalizing things, so that people will now say this is no longer protest, it is now a riot. So it all boils down to education, sensitization, making them to understand how the systems will function, the ability or the reasons why the youth should operate in the system, be part of the polity and policy making. So that is just that. We need to form an inclusive system. We need to be part of the system. We need to be part of the change that we need. We need to sensitize the youth for them to understand where and when to act.
Yes, Oguchogo. I think that example, Mr. Oshnakache come up with one of the important point about meritocracy. My question is that, let's say, why Nigerian government, Nigerian stakeholder, corporations, they do not help or recognize or monitors uh, the meritocracy of the youth community, and what's the gap you find out?
Okay, thank you very much. So when we talk about the question of meritocracy, which is actually allowing people who have the competencies, who understand the processes of running a state, and giving people what is due to them. I will refer it to as equitable distribution and recognition of people's competencies and allowing them to use their competencies to bring about good in the society. So the question comes from a deep fundamental, the problem comes from a deep fundamental issue in the society, in the Nigerian system itself. Nigeria as a country, from its history, was born out of a, a bleeding system, a bleeding foundation, in the sense that there wasn't a story that the people told themselves and believed that this is who we are and this is what we want to go about and this is how we want to go about our lives. So, like Osinakechi talked about, you go to other nations, you go to Singapore, you go to the United States, they believe in a common dream, they believe in a common hope. So you have the American dream that anyone can come from any part of the world and come there and manifest his dreams and aspirations, given the resources that are abound there. But if you come here in Nigeria, there is no such story. You see, we human beings, we function specifically by the nature of and the kind of stories that we tell ourselves. As a species, we evolved over thousands and millions of years. And when we developed language, one of the first things that we developed after language was the ability to gossip. The ability to gossip, not in the derogatory sense of backbiting, but the ability to tell stories and to give feedback to each other. And so we develop from there, we develop what we call storytelling. We are ability to tell ourselves stories and paint the picture of reality of how life should be and how we should go about it. That is a way of interpreting reality that we used, and that is what has enabled us to conquer the world, to conquer the planet, and to find ourselves at the top of the food chain. Now, this storytelling is what we have used to create religion, we have used it to create economies, we have used it to create a lot of things. Now, every nation has a story behind its existence. It's a story about their hopes, their aspirations, what they want to achieve. And based on that story, everyone believes in that story. And based on that story, they go ahead, they'll forge ahead to achieve their dreams, to achieve their hopes, and people are given opportunities to thrive and to perform based on this story within the circumference, within the parameters of this story. Now, because of the unique, the peculiar situation that we find ourselves in Nigeria, our history, colonialism, and a whole lot of all of that, there's some kind of a missing identity, a missing sense of identity within our system that has really affected us. And so, because of that, we find validation not in ourselves, not in the stories we've told ourselves. We find validation not in the stories we've told ourselves, but in others. So we look up to America, we look up to the UK, we look up to other parts of the world to give us aid when we have problems. So there's this deep inferiority complex that is within the system that has now caused both the leaders and the young people, everyone, not to believe in themselves. We do not believe in. So you now see that the government do not even believe in the youth. The people in the leadership positions, our seniors, do not even believe in the capability of the youth to bring about the change that is needed. And so you see they defund the educational system. They do not allow the educational systems to thrive. And so the young people do not get the requisite education, the requisite learning and training that they need to compete favorably in the global space. And so they now tag these young people as incompetent. A recent an example of this was really portrayed, I think it was last 2 years, when the president of our country, current president, came out and tagged the youth as lazy and incompetent. That was the height of unbelief in the potential of the youth. And so, because of that unbelief he has on the potential of the youth, and he has expressed this in many ways, and not only him, people in his cabinet, even many of the politicians who are centenarians, who are in their old age, who do not understand what the future holds, who do not understand the trends of technology, the trends of globalism, what is happening in the world. They do not understand all of these things, and so they see the young people as people who are incompetent and who do not have the requisite capabilities to bring about the change. And so they see themselves with the mentality of the past. They want to drive a future. With the mentality of the past, they want to create a future, which is impossible. The new realities that are happening in our world today that are coming on board require people with fresh blood and fresh mind who understand the digital world and what is happening, and who can take up that mantle and bring about the change that is needed. So the leaders in our country and in most African nations, because you see, this is when I talk about Nigeria, it's spread across almost the whole of West Africa. You see, the majority of the presidents we have in all of these countries like Cameroon, Zimbabwe, and all of these other African countries, are old presidents, people of very old age who do not understand the systems and processes of the modern age, and so they don't trust the youth, they don't equip the youth, and they don't give them opportunities. And then when the youth get fed up with the situation and they want to make a change, they want to stamp a change in history, they now come and clamp down upon them. So this is a case of old people who do not want to get tired.
Understand, Madam Clary. I want to know, like, as we are discussing about human rights and this kind of things, and youth actually now at present situation they are suffering a lot, and most important thing is that many people die. Beside that, I want to know what's the condition of women right now in Nigeria. Can you hear me?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so I personally, I might be proven wrong, but I don't think the human rights works in Nigeria. I remember vividly the popular rapper here, Falano, when he said outrightly that we do not have a human rights body that functions properly in Nigeria. And I would say yes to that. You can't have this kind of incident happen and everyone is shot. Literally, everyone has kept mute. So, how do you explain that there is a human rights office somewhere, or there are people under the human rights body who cannot defend or who cannot stand right the truth to say this was exactly what happened and this is what should happen? If we do not have people who can come out to defend the people, if we do not have people who can come out boldly to say that this happened and this was what was said and this was what occurred and this is totally wrong and this is the penalty that should be given, then we do not have any human rights system here in Nigeria. Up to today, it's still the youth trying to amend things for themselves. Who are we fooling here? So I personally do not think that anything is happening, anything human rights, anything is not, nothing is working here. We have a failed system. We have a system where all we do is patch, make believe, and just walk around it so that we could just leave. That's what we basically do. The late singer Fela said, "We suffer and smile every day," which is the truth. It is the basic truth. So we as youth are defenders of the country, defenders of the universe. We as youth are our human rights activists. We don't have people who stand up to us and say the truth. We don't have people who stand to our rights and say, yes, this wasn't supposed to be done, but it was done, and this is the penalty. We don't have all that here. The system is failed. The system has failed us. And that is why we are just living at the mercy of the government. That is why we just wake up each day and try to survive each day. You said the SARS had been banned, yeah? But they are still operational. They're still working. They're still functional. Oh, did they arrest someone 2 days ago? Yes, they stopped a young man. And of course, try to put a gun in the car. Who is fighting for him? Thank God he knows the military guy. What would have happened to him? Would have been taken inside the truck, and that would have been the end. Same thing happened yesterday. Another incident happened. Who is operating? Who is working? Who is talking to the SARS guys? Why is our security system not working? Why do we have to keep saying the same thing over and over again? Should more blood be shed before we know the things that are right and should do the right things? We do not have a system here. We don't even have anything called the human rights system because it's not working. Everyone seems to be oblivious of the fact that 20th October happened. So a lot of people who stood by us and said, oh yes, this happened, we saw dead bodies, all of a sudden there are no dead bodies. there is a whole lot happening in the country. And I'm one person who believes you can never be above the law. So I mean, if the law is saying retreat, I think we should retreat. If the law is saying go back to your houses, do not protest, I think we should go back to our houses. We've made them understand that we know and understand the use of technology. We've made them understand that within 7 days during the protest, a lot had been done. Money was raised for people, things were done, a lot was done, a whole lot was done. We didn't have to sit down to make a conference to see how much we build, how much would be sorted out for food for 1 day, for 2 days. No, but things were happening each day. So all thing all we need to do is within ourselves, for ourselves, try. I mean, leaders, we here, and other people, other well-meaning Nigerians who are well-informed, who are well-educated, who have the positive mindset of moving Nigeria forward, to come out to sensitize the youth, to come out and educate the youth, to come out and say, this is the way forward. You don't need to fight. Violence shouldn't be the answer. It's never the way out. Actually, it is not. No matter the grievances, no matter how hard it is to forget what happened on the 20th of October or what has been happening for years in Nigeria. But we need to stand tall. We need to go back. Do a digital detox, like I said the other time during the conference. We need to do a digital detox. Go back to the drawing board, re-strategize, think, plan, understand the system over and over and over and over again, so that we will not be pushed back and forth, back and forth. No. All we need to do is within ourselves as individuals, go back and understand the system, go back and read history, ask questions, research, know the things that are right, and then stand for it. No violence. We can still achieve it if we try to, no matter how difficult it seems. Rome wasn't built in a day. We don't expect to have a Nigeria of our choice in 1 day. No. I mean, hassles and bustles and all of that will happen, and we will all disagree to agree. But at the end of the day, it's all for our common goal. This has never happened where people come out en masse in one voice. People from different tribes. There was nothing about tribe and religion during the protest. Everyone came out in one accord because we were fighting one cause. And we all came out. And we saw how peaceful it could get. We saw how things were working. There were no panel, brought together. There was no Senate telling us we're going to bring down 200,000 naira for you to feed 100 people. No. But did people eat? Yes. The people drink water? Yes. Were people safe? Yes. Were people peaceful? Yes. Were things happening on the protest ground? Yes, they did happen. So what are we saying? The more we keep waiting for the government, the more things will not work for us. We'll continue to be on a standstill. It's time for us to move, but in a very peaceful way. For one, I obey the law, and I also wish the youth to understand this and obey the law. Violence will not make things. It will only get things worse and make us still be backwards. We keep going 100 yards backwards. But if we understand that it is time to retreat, we strategize, get communities. I mean, WhatsApp groups and states and regions, different regions, and let's plan, let's talk. And things will work out fine. Do not expect things to happen in a day, but then one giant stride, one step at a time will make it work, and then it will be a better Nigeria someday. I'm very positive about that.
Mm. Thank you, Mr. Oshnakati. I want to know, because you are a very good philosopher and you are a very good analyst. My questions to you, like, ho- what the solutions Nigeria has right now, how we can think positively, and how you can fix different kind of problem what you were talking about, that they are not they you have system error, you have different kind of problems in your society, but what the solution we can think, what the solution we have, and how we can fix this problem.
Well, Clara said that we have a failed system. For me, I think that in Nigeria, a system never was. So we need to go back to a drawing board and see a way of putting up something, you know. But then the best way to deal with a system sometimes is not by um, fighting the system. For me, I think is by bringing up a system that will make the existing system obsolete. Now, We can start by, first of all, doing a kind of crowdfunding, having a kind of youth meeting, get meetings, gets together. We can, if we cannot come together, because any gathering in Nigeria sometimes is always seen as a threat against the government. So we are in the 21st century. We can use social media to gather access, then have a kind of sensitization and put things together. Now, sensitization is very important. If you take a very good look at the history of protests or riots or anything amongst the youths, I'm not talking about the one that happened in Nigeria, across the world, you will see that there is always this Machiavellian method of looking for a way either to hijack the process protest or bring in a divide and rule strategy. Now, that seed of discord is either you plant it like what is happening now in Nigeria. Um, After the whole incident, some said that it was a plan for the Igbo tribe against the Yorubas. So that's part of the seed of discord, and that is part of the divide and rule strategy. And you will see it again being played out when they said that prisoners were set free. You see a prisoner with belt running out from the prison with belt, and someone with trousers. You will see a prisoner that is running out from the prison and immediately rush towards the camera and say, "Thank you, thank you, thank you." And the prisoner will start thanking the people coming to the camera, a prisoner, for him to be identified. So you will see a prisoner with very nice jean, very nice jean, a prisoner. You will see a prisoner carrying a Kodak bag. I don't know if the prisoner is running from prison to airport directly. So all those things, I took my time to look at the whole incident, analyze it, and secondly, you will see those that hijacked the protest. Immediately, they looks very awkward and without anything but machete. Not when you see a hoodlum, you know. But when you see someone that prepare for a protest, you either come with a flashcard, a placard, or the flag, or a clothes that because if you are protesting, you must define why you are coming out. People come out en masse with different flashcards. So that is just it. So without sensitizing the people, without sensitizing the youth, without educating them, without because one thing that education, one of the importance of education is that it equips you and it leads you out of ignorance. So you must be not just conscious, but you must be consciously conscious. You must know when to act and when not to act. Like when you look at those at the toll gates a day before because it was announced. We got the news. When you look at them, you see that those youths, they were civil, coordinated, responsibly responsive. None of them planned to fight the military or the government. They were just saying, please, this is what we want. This is what we want. We don't want this. We don't want that. So the other fractions that disrupted the system, which led to saying, okay, we don't need protest again. Those group of persons were talks and touts. So it always happened because it was like this way. You will hear from the anonymous tweet, we are meeting here today, and this is where we are starting. People will gather there, you know, and that is where they will do the protest. But when the protest was hijacked, you will hear that the youths are protesting here in this state, and another segment of youth they are protesting another place. You see another one they are protesting at Iyanekpaja, some fractions at Iba. So you will see that the whole thing um, turned to another thing altogether. So without the education, the sensitization, people knowing when to act and when not to act, because if you educate the people, you can't use them. So you can't. It's something that takes time. You take the if you do the sensitization like 1, 2, 3, 6 months, set the target, you will achieve a sensible result, and it is something that is continuous. You don't. There is no time you will say I'm done learning. People must continue to get the awareness, because the old, I don't call them old people. I don't call them. If you read my book, The First Stage of the Philologist, I made it. I say my greatest fear is uh, being under someone that is not just that is an ineducable. They can't learn. They have sworn an oath. We will not change that. They won't learn. So, and that is vivid in sub-Saharan Africa, where you see analog leaders leading in the digital age. It's very nauseating. So we just need to get ourselves equipped, use two ways of the traditional model and the any other method that we can use to educate the people, so that they will understand when to act and when not to act.
Mhm. Thank you. Mr. Oguchukwu, what's kind of solution you want to offer for today? And especially like this kind of social problems, like we need to fix it. In any point, we need to fix it. So what your opinions and how the global community can work together?
Okay, thank you very much. Uh, I'm going to begin this way. In every society, in every country that we find ourselves as groups of people, whenever we are frustrated against a situation like we have in Nigeria, and like it has repeated itself, right? Like it has happened many times in history. Now people go out and they say they want to protest, they want to revolt against an unfair system. It usually happens that either the protest or the revolution is backed by knowledge or it is backed by ignorance. And so, in this sense, I'll say that there are two types of revolutions that usually happens. The first type of revolution is a revolution that is backed by vision and knowledge. And so, which means the people understand what they are going for and they go for that. And they understand how to get there. They understand the vision and then they understand the strategy. And so, there's a knowledge backing it on how to achieve what they want. The second kind of revolution that happens. Okay, let me give you a quick example. The first kind of revolution that I talked about that is backed by vision and knowledge, we see that in the American Revolution that happened when they fought against the British. No, so they were the forefathers of the American people understood the situation and they knew where they were going, and so when they went for it, they hit it headlong and they achieved it. That's a typical example of a revolution that is backed by knowledge. Second kind of revolution is a revolution that is backed by frustration and ignorance. And so the people are frustrated by a situation that is not good. And so they want to change. But when you ask them, what kind of change do you want? They have no answers. The danger with this kind of situation, danger with this kind of revolution is that the people go ahead, they push the existing system and they push for change. But at the end, the people who understand what they want will hijack the system, will hijack the revolution, and still turn it up against the people. And so we saw this kind of situation play out in the Arab Spring, when Tunisia and some of other Arab nations who are fighting against an existing system went out and they protested and they got the current regime out of government. But you now saw people who are in military uniforms now removing their military uniforms and then wearing the democratic suits and then contesting for elections and then winning with the same ideology, with the same issues that are still happening. And so that's the danger that happens when a revolution is backed without knowledge. The problem I have with what is happening in my country is that, in as much as we are fed up, in as much as we are frustrated about what is happening in our country, we have been frustrated a long time ago. And so this frustration has manifested itself in different ways. We saw what happened around 2015 and 16 when the people from the Southeast got fed up with the current situation and they protested against it and they said they wanted a separate state in the name of Biafra. And so the other parts of the country, other people said, "Oh, you guys are evil. You want to break out of the country. This is not good." And so when they came out, the government still met them with the same reaction that was used to meet these protesters today. The same violence. They were shot. They were killed. And during that period, I was actively, into all of that, protesting against this, saying this, how these people are being treated is not nice. And people were like, "Oh, why should we want to secede from a nation?" And so the issue that happened during that time was the Nigerian people did not understand that the basic thing that these people were fighting against, it wasn't so much of seceding from a country, but it was against the endemic and systemic issues that are within the system, within the country. So they were protesting still against these basic amenities. What the youth are protesting against today, and they were shot and killed, and nobody said anything. And then there was something their leader, Nnamdi Kanu, said at the time. He said, "We have been attacked and killed during this period. And you people are rejoicing and saying we deserve it. But the danger is, you should remember that one day, the same hand that was used against us by the government will use it against you people when you people stand up to fight against this." And this is what is happening today. You now see that the youth are coming out and they are being met with the same. There is a saying in my place, my Igbo place where I come from. The saying goes this way: "Onye hụrụ nga ọkụkọ na vonshi, onye chu, because onye ma onye ga-akpa agbere." What it means is that if you see a cock going to a dumpster, going to a physics that was laid and using its fingers, scratching around it and scattering it, go and push away that cock. Go and make sure that the cock does not get infected, does not go to that physics and get infected, because when the cock will be killed, it will be shared, the meat will be shared to everybody, and everybody will get equal compensation for allowing that cock to engage in that. So the problem, that is what is really happening in my country now. So the problem, the question now becomes, how do we get ourselves out of this situation? And it begins by understanding that we have to do something about this situation. And I'm going to lay out this solution, starting with Albert Einstein's quote, one of his quotes. And I'm going to paraphrase here. He says that the world is not an evil place because there is too much of bad people. Rather, the world becomes evil, the world becomes bad because there are too many good people who refuse to do something about the evil situation, the situation that we find ourselves. And so when good people refuse to do something, they inevitably give the bad people the opportunity to go there and do evil. And so that is where I call upon the youth. I call upon the youth who are knowledgeable, who have a vision and a story about the kind of Nigeria they want to actually hijack the system. Because let me tell you frankly, whether or not we believe it, this protest that is happening, this revolution that is happening, every revolution that has happened in history will eventually be hijacked. By hijack, I mean someone coming up and then taking up the protest and then infusing his own ideology and having the people. So that's about leadership. So it has to be hijacked. But the question is not about hijack. Hijack will happen. The question is, who is hijacking it? Does the person have the good of the people at heart? Or is it an evil? Is it someone who does not really understand, who doesn't have a vision for the people? So that is where people who are knowledgeable, people who have a vision, clear vision for the nation, need to come into the situation and then take up this revolution that is happening and then craft a new vision for our nation. That is what we need. And so I will say that beyond all of these protests that is happening, beyond all of these issues, all of this violence and mayhem that is being perpetrated within this period, there is one way I believe the youth can pull themselves out of the situation and bring about a lasting change in the country of Nigeria and across Africa. And that is a way that I've spoken a lot about this in many platforms. And I call this individually propelled growth. So that is where, if you know the basic principle behind it, if you have a problem in your community, if you have an endemic problem in your community that you wish to be solved, be the first person to come out and create the solution for that problem, and then take the solution that you have created and spread it across the nation and spread it across the society so that everyone can have equal benefits of it. So what it means that do not hope on the government, do not hope on the elite or the people who are already causing the problem. Do not focus on them. Be the solution to the problem that you are facing. Create the solution and then spread it across so that everyone can have equal access to it. So I believe that the youth who understand the technological age era that we are functioning and who understand how to use the tools that are available with technology to build should use the principles of this individually propelled growth, this IPG, to build themselves out of this problem. We need to build ourselves out of this problem. We cannot fight ourselves out of it. You can't come out, no matter how hard you fight on the street, they're still gonna shoot you. They're still gonna kill you. So what do? Go back within your chambers, take time, study, build the mind with knowledge and create solutions to problems, solve the power problems, solve the internet problems, solve the broadband problems, provide solutions to the educational problem, and automatically, naturally, you will make the old system obsolete. You don't change the system by fighting it, you change the system by building an alternative that is better. So this is my message to the youth. Go within your chambers, build a solution that is equitable, that is so powerful that it cannot be resisted by the original force, and automatically the old system will become obsolete and irrelevant. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Madam Clara E, what's the solution you want to offer for today, especially based on Nigerian context and developing nation context? Can you hear me?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Sharif. Okay, so it's a long list of solutions, and it's going to be divided into two, for the government and for the youth. Now, for the government, we are asking for our rights. The first call for the protest was end the police brutality. In other words, the security is our problem. So how do you feel secure when you don't even have the right security in your country? So we are asking, why not sit down, reform the police, reform whatever body you're forming under the police, be it SAS, whatever it is, reform the police. And who says graduates cannot be policemen? Who says if the police system isn't properly working, that I cannot be a policewoman? Who says we cannot have good police where we stand and talk and have conversations with the police? Who says if a police stops me, we can't have a 1 minute chat on the country? We can't talk about his family without me being scared of what will happen in the next 20 minutes or in the next few seconds. We need to reform the police. We need to reform the security system. We need to look into the system. This is for the government. We also need to look at the employment rates in the country. Our youths are suffering. I have a BSc, I have a second degree, I have a master's. Do I have the job I want? No. What did I do? I had to look for an alternative to survive. How many people out there can get alternatives? The alternative I have, is it 100% functional alternative for me? No, I am just trying to survive because I'm a Nigerian. We need to look at the employment rates in our country. We need to work on that. We also need to look into the system, which is all the political parties, all the political bodies, the people who make up these political parties. They need to sit and sensitize themselves. It's not just the youths. So you need to sit and make them understand that if you are receiving such an amount every month, I don't know how they are paid monthly, yearly, I don't know how they are paid, but whatever it is, I know they are taking a large sum of money home. And if you are taking all that sum of money home, what's the reason to hoard money? It was just a show of shame when they went to loot in houses and then you see money stuck somewhere, buried on the ground. People are looking for money. There is no money, but some people have money stuck somewhere. And then you check the notes and the notes are gone bad. You can't even use it. The value is useless. So it's not just sensitizing the youth. We also need to sensitize the so-called leaders. Why do you need so much? Why the greed? What you earn? A young person might not earn. The annual sum of his or her money may not even be able to amount to your monthly salary in 10 years. So what's the need to have so much more? You get palliatives, people
Mhm.
looting. I'm not a fan. I'm not a party to going out to destroy things or loot and all that. But then, well, it has been done. And when it was done, you see a lot of people coming out to say, I heard a senator say, he was supposed to be shared on his birthday. Really? Things that haven't stuck there. It was written boldly for COVID-19. COVID-19 is over. Maybe not totally over, but I mean, the time we had the lockdown, that was when people needed it. I run a foundation. In my little way, I still had to go out to my community to share food, to share money. I sent money. A lot of people will write me on Instagram, on Facebook. Oh, I haven't eaten. My children are starving. There's no pampers. There's no this. There's no that. I have from my own pocket. How much do I earn? Do I work for people who pay me? No. I'm only trying to make a living in my space. So we need to look at a lot of things. I mean, the government needs to look at a lot of things. If we need to amend, renew the constitution, please let's do it. Please involve the young
Thank you.
people.
Thank you.
We need to involve the young people in the system, and the young people also need to understand the system so they can fit in very well. And there's this mentality of them shutting the young people. I know a few people who are in the government, but they can't talk. So why have them there as statues? No, they should be there to work. They are supposed to stand in for the youth. So it's a whole lot of work for us to do in Nigeria. It's been a fundamental problem. Things our parents could not stand up to them to talk to. We are trying to do it now. And that revolution would happen. It has started and it will happen. So we have to do a lot of work from the government and then from the youth. We need to work on ourselves. Individual resolve. We need to work on ourselves. We need to tell ourselves the truth. There's also talked about protests happening in Lekki, in Apaja, Ogba, different places. Now we also need to look into that too. It means a lot of people want to be cheerleaders of their own communities. What would have happened if we had just two places of protest, one on the island, one on the mainland, and not have diverse? When you have diverse places of protest, you infiltrate the place with people who are not supposed to be a part of the protest. So if we had Lekki, one at Lekki covering all of the island, there is nothing wrong. It is just coming out in one voice. If we had on the mainland just one place, say Alausa, everyone is moving to Alausa, still in a peaceful protest. So we also have work to do within ourselves. Everyone wants to be a leader. Everyone wants to be seen. Everyone wants to cheer a particular thing. That is the problem we are having. We need to create this party. We need to create this party. We are good. We can do better than this other party. No, we need to unify ourselves in one voice and work towards achieving one goal. It's for the betterment of we Nigerians, we, our generation, and our future generation, our kids, our unborn kids. So this is all I have to say.
Mhm. Thank you. Thank you. Before I go for this concluding remarks, there are some audience response I want to share with you. Mohammad Shoed Rana, because I think you have also some international community, those who are supporting you. You are talented voice. Humara Tanzila, hello everyone. Thanks for joining today's sessions. Noor Fazring, greetings from Malaysia. Well said. Hosne Arafetdos, raise your voice and join with World Talent Economy Forum. Onika Shams, she said, "We feel sorry for you, hoping for the best." And Araf Mehraz, he said, "What the real situation?" I think already he get the answer because all of our panelists discussed today about the real situation in Nigeria, and we are observing people hold banners as they demonstrate against poverty. And Mohammad Sohail Rana, he has a specific question. Nigeria has have been protesting for years against police brutality. So why did this October protest gain international attention and support at a scale never seen before? So yes, I want to start from Oshnakati, and then Uguchuko, and then Clara for the concluding remarks. And if you share that how you getting support from the international community, and you also running a global community like TAFFDS, so you can share with us.
Well, I think like what happened during the pandemic um, was just a pointer that we are not in the age of who wins or who loses the battle, but it's all about understanding that we are from the human family. And what happened on October 20th is what we cannot happen. We cannot afford to forget. It is for the youth of Nigeria, our own 9/11 attack. It is 9/11 because it is more than 9/11. 9/11 was an external aggression, but this is an internal one because
Exactly.
those who ought to sacrifice for us, the youth, sacrifice us for their own selfish interest.
Hmm. Strong.
So they shot at us even while we were kneeling, singing the national anthem. It's not something that anyone will smile at. You see, what people are saying, most persons are trying to say that, and that is the nauseating aspect of it, which Claire talked about. Most persons say that it was photoshopped, but this is what my cousin, who was there at that time, is still in shock. Now, imagine looking at someone who ought to protect you shooting at you. You see, due to the age that we are, people raised alarm. There is this DJ Stitch, I think. She was streaming live. She was streaming live during the protest. She was streaming live during the shooting using her Instagram handle. And of course, people will see it. Once a hashtag is raised and you see people following you see the hashtag trending, everyone would like to know what is happening around that is making that hashtag to trend. Nigeria we in Nigeria, we're very popular. We have over 180 million people, and when you look at top officials in the world, like Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala tweeted about it. She was talking about it. Prominent leaders of Nigeria representing um, occupying international positions spoke about it. You wrote something, Sheriff. You wrote something about it. USTP wrote something about it. And when you check the Twitter handle, big groups, Hillary Clinton talked about it because it was a target against the youth. The youth of Nigeria, the youths of Nigeria are not just important to Nigerians, but to the world. Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala is not just important to Nigerians, but to the global economy. You are not just important to Malaysians, you are important to the global economy because people are benefiting from what you do. So if you are a member of International Longevity Alliance, you will see the predictions of some longevity experts that from 2048, uh, one person dying would be like the world losing 1.5% of her assets. So instead of people protecting this cheap value upon which other value comes out from, they are killing, they are suppressing, and they reducing the future hope of the global economy. So that was why the world needs to speak up. Unless we continue this way, the world will never become a better place. So my friend Gochualo will say that we should forget about this ideology of third world countries, second world country, or first world countries, and let's talk about the first, second, and third world persons. And if you want to talk about it, if you bring it down to that level, you will see that all humans are equal. We see every person as a leader. So by doing so, understanding that we are all leaders in our areas of functioning will give maximum respect to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. Oguchuku, can you give us the concluding remarks? Yeah, for today's session.
Okay. So thank you very much. In concluding, I would say just a few things. So the first thing is I'll speak to the Nigerian youth out there. And when I'm talking to the Nigerian youth, I'm equally talking to the African youth. I'm equally talking to the your European youth. I'm talking to the American youth. I'm talking to the Chinese youth. But more importantly, I'm speaking to those who are mourning currently, and that is the Nigerian youth, whose hope has been dashed on the walls of poverty and lack of access to resources, whose dreams has been squashed by the greed and the insensitivity of old leaders who do not have any design for the future. And speaking to the Nigerian youth who has dreams, who has competencies, but who does not have the equal opportunity to play in the global space. I'm speaking to the non-Nigerian whose opportunities have been limited and largely tarnished by the dark image that has been painted upon his country, so that it no longer has the access to global space to play to compete competitively with others who don't have access to buy on Amazon any longer because he's from Nigeria, or neither can he receive payment from PayPal because he's from Nigeria. Neither can he play in the global space or float a company, and his company will be invested because the company is registered in Nigeria. These are the limitations and the shortcomings that the Nigerian youth and the African youth is facing. And so the Nigerian youth, and in extension, the African youth, has been painted as a fraudster by default. By just coming from Nigeria, you arrive at the airport, the way you are treated, the way you are attended to, the way you are searched, it goes to show you the demeaning nature that is the demeaning consciousness that has been placed upon you. You go to China to do business. By the mere fact that you mention that you're from Nigeria, automatically you have been labeled a threat, irrespective of your goodwill, irrespective of education, irrespective of your competencies, what you could do. So these are the limitations that the average Nigerian is witnessing. And for most of us, some of us here, who are working so hard to turn this around, we see these limitations every day that we wake up and we turn on our laptops and we're trying to make a change through our work. We see these limitations every day. We see people discriminating against us. We see people fighting against us. So I'm speaking to the young Nigerians who, irrespective of these problems from outside, is being killed by his own leaders, by his own parents, who are supposed to be protecting us. So you go out there and they discriminate against you, and you come back home and they kill you. Where should you run to? So I'm speaking to that young Nigerian and young African. Do not lose hope. Believe in the ingenuity and the power of your vision. Believe in the power of your vision to cause a change. Believe in your capacity to use your mind to create the realities that you want for yourself. Believe in that vision that you saw that made you fire up your laptop this morning. Believe in that vision that made you to tweet on the social media against the evil and the mayhem that is being perpetrated against you. Do not stop publishing on Amazon, even if they will not allow you. If do not stop using PayPal, do not stop creating, or even when they do system do not want you to access these resources, create your own, create your world, build yourself out of this situation. You are the only future that remains. And the future is a conglomeration of what you do in the present moment. So do not lose hope. The young African Nigerian out there, I'm speaking to you, irrespective of the challenges that you face, irrespective of how it appears that you have no longer identity again, believe in that hope that you wake up every morning and things will get better. Thank you very
Thank you,
much.
thank you, thank you, thank you for your excellent advice and summary, Madam Clara E. How do you want to uh, give the concluding remarks for today?
Okay, first I want to say thank you very much for having me. OC, thank you. Gochuku, it's so good to meet you here and hear from you. Um, I'm very proud to be a Nigerian youth. As much as I am ashamed to be a Nigerian, but do I have a choice? No, I don't have a choice. Am I proud Nigerian? At the same time, I am. It's just mixed feelings, basically. No better time to be a proud Nigerian youth. We have been able to make a statement. That statement has been made and will never be forgotten. Have we been shut up? Just maybe. Can we make this work? Yes, we can. How do we do it? Not by violence. For those lives, those people who lost their lives, we have to give them a reason why they did. We need to make sure that wherever they are, they see us and they are grateful for the movement, for that revolution, for that thing we started off. It won't be easy. Like I said earlier, Rome was not built in a day. So we need to work. Hope is all we have. We have ourselves. Let's stop the greed. Let's stop excessive want of money. Money is good, but at the same time, like they say, it's the root of all evil. So we need to create a balance for ourselves. We as one, we as Nigerian youth should work together, work and walk together. As much as we can, let us try and be our brother's keeper. That's how it works. I saw a video yesterday done by Mr. Macaroni, who is an online comedian, and then he created something really short but simple, and the message was passed across. It was about three SARS guys who stopped a young boy, because he has birds, and he had a school bag and all that, and then they stopped him, tried to harass him, and then they needed his PIN to his phone, and all of a sudden, some young people who were passing by came to his rescue. They held hands, blocked him, stood in front of the SARS guys, and said, "If you must do anything to him, you have to go through me." And same thing with about 15 people. It just shows unity. Can we do it? Yes, we can. If Nigeria is good today, it's not for me, it's for you, it's for me, it's for our children. It's even for our parents who couldn't even say anything. Do you think our parents are proud of us? Yes, they are. So we need not to give up. We need to work. We need to be on our toes. We need to use the social media. We need to use the internet. We need support from the international bodies. We need support from you, Sharif. This you are doing is a good one because it's creating awareness for us and making people understand that we need help. There's still meaningful Nigerians out here who want to create that change. We are change agents. I am a change agent. Who is a change agent? Osi is a change agent. A lot of people should have been here. Are they here? No. It depends on what you want. right? So if we have quite a number of people who have the same value and are ready to walk the path and talk the talk and be able to say, yeah, this is what I stand for. I stand for what is right, and we have to get what is right, no matter what it takes, minus violence, then we are the right step. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Actually, yes, World Talent Economy Forum, this is our objective. Maybe in online, only 6 months we are working. But if you see my track record last 12 years, uh, I helped to develop thousand and thousand of peoples. Not only me, I have my strong teams. Even in Bangladesh, I think we have a strong engagement. More than 20,000 people, even from the debating communities and the other things, we have a very strong engagement with the global community. So last 12 years times, actually we do a lot of background work, we do a lot of activities through the lot of development of the youth, Asia research and development initiatives, uh, even Cambrian educations groups like United Universities and Asia Research and Development Institutions, Al Noor Academy. We are strongly engaged with the youth community, because what you are saying today, this is really really important, because youth is ultimately the group of people who actually uh, help their nations to go for the advanced level. And what I saw today, Nigeria has bright futures. As Nigeria has a people like you, Nigeria has a people like today's speakers, definitely they have brilliant mind. Definitely they have people, those who can get their position based on meritocracy. One thing I want to say, because I am also from a developing nations, but I try to conquer from around the world. I visited many countries. I have a strong engagement with Ivy League universities, and with my teams and with my organizations, we are trying to help a lot of youth community. But one thing I just want to ensure that, let's say, the Ivy League students and the youth community and the Nigerian or Bangladeshi or Indonesian community, there is no difference. Only thing is exposure. So that is the things are we are working in World Talent Economy Forum. There is a no difference. The people example from Malaysia, from Kampung, from village, and the people from example USA, there is no difference. Everyone has one dream and one hope, that we have to create a better society. We want to develop a better society and we want to live there. So what happening with this Nigeria, we are really really sorry about that. And we have strong support. World Talent Economy Forum has strong support for this Nigerian youth, for this Nigerian community. And we want to grow together, we want to learn from each others. And that is the things what you come to the conclusions, that uh, you have your strategy, you have your brain, you have your peoples, but we have to work together, we have to help each others, and by this way we can grow the better community. And in this COVID period, this is my request to all of the political parties and the peoples and everybody: behave properly, respect properly, support your community. You are not, even example, a politician, he is not outside from the community. If your people die today, tomorrow your son will die or you will die. So definitely we have to protect it. We have to protect this point. Who is the powerful, who has, because from the COVID we learn, if we have huge money, it does not mean I am safe. If I have a very very good powers and everything, it does not mean I am safe. If I live in example the developed nations and someone living developing nations or underdeveloped nation, it does not mean we are safe. Every man has problem like right now and challenge. And this is the request to all of the political peoples, all of the organizations, all of the respected things, that behave properly and support your community. And what I understand, that Nigeria has beautiful features, like what I find from Oguchuko, Oshnakachi, and Clara. You are the future for Nigeria. You are the leader for Nigeria. Hope you can achieve your community's goals with your good leaderships. Thank you for joining today. And it's really, really very good learning session for me. And we also share your things as much as possible with the global community. Thank you for joining today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank,
Thank you very much,
thank you.
Shari, for the opportunity.
Thank you,
Thank you.
thank you, thank you, Clara, and thank you, Oshnakachi. He is always supporting us a lot, and
Thank
he
you.
is a very nice guy. He is always very supportive. Thank you.
Sure.
And anything
Sure.
if we want to do more like policy discussions and more analytical discussions, World Talent Economy Forum with you. We're always open for that. We love to learn from each other. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank you.
very
Bye
much.
bye.
Thank
Take
you.
care. Bye bye. Take care.